The 5 most mysterious unsolved murders of all time. Murder are always disturbing, but some are even worse than that. These killings were brutal, almost unimaginable in their depravity. The crimes horrified communities and stumped police, leaving questions that lingered for decades afterward, as years passed without an arrest or even a credible suspect. They vary in their details, but they all have one thing in common: a killer who has never been found. Number 5. Jack the Ripper. London's most notorious serial killer prowled the East End over a century ago, preying on prostitutes and terrorizing the area. He made his mark as Jack the Ripper by killing and mutilating at least 5 women. Dread grew as the dead bodies began to pile up near each other within a 3-month period in 1888. Local authorities at first wondered whether the suspect was a butcher or a doctor due to his signature and gory method of murder, and his skill with a knife. Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes and Mary Jane Kelly all had their throats slashed. And most of them had their stomachs slit and organs ripped out before being dumped on the streets. Even with all eyes on the case, police were never able to put a face to the killer. Countless historians and criminologists, both amateur and professional, have speculated on the killer's identity, but it appears Jack the Ripper took his secret to the grave. Number 4. The Black Dahlia. The sight stopped a mother and her child in their tracks. A naked woman was lying feet from the sidewalk. She was sliced cleanly in half at the waist, with not one drop of blood on her. The now infamous slaying of 22-year-old Elizabeth Short instantly captured headlines in 1947, with newspapers later dubbing her the Black Dahlia, in part because she had dark hair and an apparent preference for black clothing. Her body appeared professionally dissected, and one breast was cut off according to FBI records. It's unclear how the aspiring actor met such a grisly fate. Number 3. The Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer was no ordinary murderer. Rather than avoiding the spotlight, he craved media attention and seemed to enjoy taunting police with cryptic notes and clues. The Zodiac Killer murdered 5 people, seemingly at random, in Northern California in 1968 and 1969. He claimed in letters to police that there were dozens more victims, although that was never confirmed. His deadly rampage began in December 1968 when 2 teenagers were shot to death in a parking lot. About 7 months later, another 2 people were shot in a parked car, although one survived. That's when local newspapers started getting letters from someone anonymously claiming to be responsible for the slaying. The newspaper said the letters contained coded messages explaining the killer's motive, as well as a key to help readers decipher his identity. Authorities did not crack the code revealing his name, and the Zodiac Killer went on to stab 2 more people in late September. One of the victims survived, and the other died. About 2 weeks later, the killer struck again, fatally shooting a 29-year-old taxi driver. Days later, the Zodiac mailed a piece of his latest victim's bloody shirt to the Chronicle newspaper. To this day, no suspects have been confirmed in the case. Number 2. Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. The music world was rocked in the late 1990s when rap superstars Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. were gunned down about 6 months apart. The killings came at a moment marked by intense rivalry between their competing record labels. It's unclear whether the rivalry played a role in either killing. Number 1. Jonbenet Ramsey. The 60-year-old beauty queen was found dead in the basement of her family's Colorado home. Many who had followed the story began to speculate on whether her parents were somehow involved. Autopsy determined that Jonbenet died of asphyxiation caused by strangulation. But who killed Jonbenet Ramsey is still unsolved. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.